Okay, well, I think Stella just had her fourth meal of the day, so oh my gosh, she's become a bottomless pit. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm gonna go to the food bank in the morning though. Dang. Well, and I had been not getting her a bunch of meat. So I don't know if it's making her more hungry eating. I did get some turkey bacon, but eating eggs and potatoes and beans and vegetables. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just in the air. I'll tell you what is in the air though. Is you remember I told you that okay, so for some people they may not know all this stuff, so I've got to go back a little bit. So in the summertime, yeah, because this is the winter. So yeah, in the summertime, um, I was at home and I kept seeing a truck driving around and they kept stopping at different people's houses. And I kept thinking, I bet you that they're putting smart meters on or something. So I started paying attention and I started noticing that they were going up to houses, like when people weren't home and stuff, and they were putting on these meters. And, which I thought was totally suspect. And then, in my house, I have a gate, and my whole property is fenced all the way around. And it is not like a huge piece of property, but still, it's got a fence all the way around. It has signs, no trespassing, and all that stuff. And so, and I put that all up once I started, know about what was going on. And so then, so I was sitting here, and a guy pulled it up at the end of the driveway, and I wouldn't go out. So I was barking or something. I don't remember, but I didn't go out. I just ignored him. I was like, I don't need anything. Go away. And so I'm sitting here, whatever I was doing, and then I look up, and he's right there, out in my yard. And so I was like, what the fuck? And I turn, and he's pulled his truck in to my fucking driveway, and he is just going out there working in my yard. And so I go out there, I'm like, what are you doing? And he starts being all like friendly, like, I was like, oh, I imagine you better be friendly. This will get you a shot around up in here. And not my house, but like when I was on next door, I was everybody's answer to everything. And so when I asked him, he was being all friendly. Oh, I was just putting this on. I was like, I don't want that. He goes, oh, you don't want it? And I was like, no, I don't want that. And I said, I just want my old one. And so he goes, oh, okay, no problem. I'll put it back on. Yeah, shouldn't have taken it off. And so, oh my God. And so then I said that because she just runs my day. Just all day long. It's all about Stella. And so, so he says, he'll change it and take it, and he left. And so, it was like, oh, I'll win because I happen to be here and catch him doing it. Well, then a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago, I don't even remember when it was, and they sent me some kind of a tariff. They told me I'd have a tariff to not be on the smart meter. And I don't even remember what all it was. It was like this whole big legal packet thing. I think I was supposed to go and get it signed by it wasn't just like, oh, here, sign this. No, it was like ridiculous. And I was like, what the fuck? I don't even know where I put it. I was looking for it today. I haven't found it yet. So today I get something in the mail, and it says important notification from the power company. And so I open it, and it says that, they've been waiting for this tariff paper to be returned, and I still haven't returned it. And if I don't have it to them by the 6th, they're coming out and putting a meter on my house. That's it. I don't have a say. And isn't that strange timing? You know what really got me when with the way that they did that, I was like, oh, I wonder, like, I would really like to know of these places that are being lasered if the smart meter doesn't have something to do with that. I bet you it has something like like a direct weapon needs a target. I bet it's some kind of thing or something. Because why in the hell do they need those on here so bad like that? And then right there, right before this big eclipsing, oh yeah, and there was a big explosion in Fort Worth today. I don't know what happened or what exploded or what the consequences are or anything, but and then in Oklahoma they had the boat crash thing, and Crystal was gonna look and see what if she could figure out like what poisons or whatever. But some of these places, I mean, I don't even think they've told them all the stuff in Baltimore one yet. So, and I just feel like this is all, you know, it's all like a setup or something. And so anyways, I only thing I feel good about over here is like, well, at least my house is blue. But I think if I can't find the tariff thing, and then I have to go, like I think I don't know if I had to get a lawyer. I don't even know what the fuck. So they're gonna probably come out here and put the damn thing on my house, and then oh god, this is so irritating. Oh, and don't forget, once I had opted out, suddenly my oven stopped working, my dryer on my washer stopped heating. So everything that needed, well, the stove will heat up, but the oven won't. But the code doesn't match. So I keep feeling like it's got to be something that they're jacking with the meter thing. So I don't know. We would see then if they come put the smart meter on and all of a sudden my shit starts working again. That would be a telling sign. But I'm telling you, on those days, like especially on the 8th and stuff, I always turn the power off. Just turn the whole thing off. I don't want to get their blast. If that's what they're going to be doing, they need those on there to just be blasting us with whatever it is into our homes, into our fucking brains and stuff. I keep seeing something about these people keep talking about like all these metals that are in people. She's licking her paws. All these metals that are in people, that they're about to activate them, that they're there for a reason, and whatever they're going to do is going to be some sort of a thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's all sorts of things. I'm sure some people say they're going to be zombies. Some people say they're going to just all of a sudden everybody's going to die. Like, I don't even know. There's no telling what to expect, I swear to God. The only thing that keeps me going is I know that everything's going to get way better after. Everything's going to be way better afterwards. It's just like, oh my gosh. And then, you know, and I've got to just keep finding like comfort in the fact that, okay, whatever happens, all these souls, this was their pre-planned thing. This isn't something that just occurs. This is, you know, we're in the replay. And so it's not, you know, it's way more of like we're just watching this all play out to lead to where we're going. And it just is kind of like wherever you are pinned in, you know, I'm just way up here. Like, I just know like all this bad stuff that's going to happen is what it's like. How else is it going to be? Like, people will just keep going dark, 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 dark. Somewhere they got to hit a wall. So once the wall is hit and they see the error of their ways, then, you know, it's time to go the other direction. So, you know, it has a positive outcome for whatever's going to happen. And the people who have these impacts, it's for their growth and stuff. And none of us know, like, who knows? Like, I mean, a lot of us could lose a lot of family members whenever this goes on. They could do total attacks. This Fort Worth thing could just be a preemptive strike. You know, like they're making all this big drama about what's going on with Russia and stuff like that. So they can, you know, they can come in and just start blowing shit up, blame it on whoever the fuck they want. And that's what they'll do. They'll just, you just don't know which places are going to get hit. There's like the 17 cities, though, that they had said. Oh, yeah, because Tanya and I were just talking about it. That's why I was like, because there are 17 cities that they had said to stay safe. I'm pretty sure they're all like on the water, like Seattle, LA, Portland. I don't know how close Portland is to the water. I don't even know if it is Portland, but I know that there was another, what was that? It was some road, like by Big Sur or something, and it collapsed. Some big road trapped all these people. There's just gonna keep being more and more. It was some big giant train derailment. It just is gonna keep going and keep going. Uh, and then, though, once this event thing happens, I keep feeling like once the banks collapse, things are going to get so much calmer. I feel like that we're just fighting against this, or because it's kind of like things are playing out so people can see. And that it's like we're going to win, like it's already won. And that there is like white hat people out diffusing situations or something. But there's still this stuff that's got to play out. Like, there's nothing we could do about it. And so anyways, this stuff is still going to be playing out, but I still feel like once it starts going the other direction, like Joe starts going down, and the money situation starts changing, and it seems like it's just this constant revealing stuff. Oh my gosh. I heard some other podcast, people who are sharing these podcasts, and there's a lot of podcasters that talk about, they're all familiar with all these rap people and music people like that. I'm not familiar with like all these people, and but I am familiar with J-Lo. So anyways, this is who they were talking about today, about her whole plan was to separate herself from the stuff that was about to go down with Diddy or something, like that she had some sort of warning or something, because she's very, very involved apparently. Like she's pretty like this person was talking about, like she's pretty dirty. Like she does some pretty so she's like all involved. And so she ran to get, this good vibe or whatever, ran to Ben. And apparently in their first time, because a long time ago they were going to get married, and then they didn't. They were like this big, couple, and then they didn't get married. And then he went and got together with Jennifer Garner and went and had kids, and she went and got together with Mark Anthony, I think. I don't know. She's had so many different guys. And I still am like, where the fuck are her kids? And like, because we know Jennifer Garner's got Ben's kids, but I don't know where the fuck J-Lo's kids are. But so then when all this stuff was going to start going down, I don't know, she thought that was going to be like a safety zone or something, and get Ben back and to hide behind him or something. But apparently when their first one, the reason why they didn't get married is that there was a clause in it, in the prenup or something. And it's like, who gave who the prenup? Aren't they both fucking rich? But so that there was some kind of clause in their premarital agreement that he had to have sex for an hour a day, 5 times a week, to satisfy her. And he couldn't do it. He said he couldn't do it because I guess apparently he's a big drinker and he can't get it up or something. And so Jennifer Garner, I guess, doesn't care, but J-Lo cares, and she tells people, I guess. And so she's very dissatisfied with what she's got going with it. I feel kind of sorry for him. But, all these people, they're all, they all make choices. Like, he wouldn't have gone into that blindly. He had to know. Or maybe he was tricked. Maybe he really thought she was madly in love with them. But she's, I think the only person she loves is herself. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows how it's all going to play out? But there's going to start being some women, unexpected ones too, that are going to start going down. Like everybody gets all up on the pervy men and stuff like that. You're about to see some women that I think is going to be shocking. And it is shocking when you think about like some of these women perving on kids and stuff. It's like so weird. Where is your motherly instinct? Like, I was just seeing this beginning thing of this Max Spears. I've heard that name before, but I don't know that I knew who he was or anything. But I think he is from some sort of elite family, and he goes out and talks and tells people something about, the only part I saw, he was talking about how they, in the families, the lineage that he's in, they start traumatizing the mom while the baby's in utero so that they can traumatize the baby. And it's so crazy because I had just seen stuff about these studies. Even it affects the baby's teeth. And so they knew all this stuff ahead of time. So they start traumatizing the mom when she's pregnant. Kind of reminds you of Rosemary's Baby or something. And then once the baby comes out, they have like 3 years where they have to fracture their mind. Their whole thing is to fracture their mind to have mind control. So that must be like a part of like you know, like Paris seems to be trying to heal. It must be like a lot of these people have gotten themselves fractured. Who knows how fractured it becomes, but they become somebody who they're not. And because, and, well, you know, I mean, there's a part of growing up, but there's something with these families. I mean, just look at Kathy Griffin, like what was done to her or him. Because I'm all the evidence I've seen about that, I feel certain that's got to be Anderson Cooper's brother. It's not his mom's good friend. And it was just like a whole thing. You just have to look up all that weird stuff. But, you know, if you're born into these families, it is very traumatizing. But those are all things where different souls, like I gotta remember, these are all just soul story pockets playing out all over the place. And but this is kind of like, you know, the awakening is so that we pull into all the stories and kind of like see them or evaluate them. It's kind of like, I don't know, it all goes together and to get us to see things and think for ourselves. And it was something because it was so important about, you know, pulling into yourself, into trusting yourself. Because I think so many people have gone against their own instincts. Like they haven't trusted themselves probably all along throughout their lives. And so they're always looking outside of themselves for answers and guidance because they don't trust their internal. I think some people don't even know that that's like a thing. Like your internal is guiding you and directing you and is always available to talk to you, talk you through things, help you understand things. But, and if you're having trouble getting to that guidance, you got to remember that, you know, it's a crowded party and you have to get through a lot of noise in order to get to, you know, the logic, the quiet part or something. And I have a bunch of things coming into my mind. Let me just think for a second. I had like this, it's so, like, I swear to God, it's so important to not compare yourself to other people. I mean, and I made that mistake today. There was a girl who we used to talk a long time ago when we both first had gone on TikTok. And so we were both talking kind of about the same thing. And then we kind of went like a little bit in 2 different directions. And I'm not really even sure what her direction is. Today when I had even seen her, I wasn't following her anymore. So I think that they drop accounts off of my thing because I don't even know, like, and I know they do it on here too. They just drop followers, and so they do it on my TikTok account too. They'll just disconnect you from different people or something. I'm not sure. But anyways, so I hadn't seen her in a long time. But there's a whole shit ton of people I haven't seen in a long time. You know, I don't know what they did in their algorithm stuff, but it was like all of a sudden one day I was like following all these people. I'd see them all the time every day, and then all of a sudden they're just like all gone. And but anyway, so she was one of those people too. And so we were kind of on the same amount of following. And right now my following keeps going up and going up. Like this morning, when I got up, I had 65 messages that go in and answer, and there's so many of just the same question over and over and over. It's like, I can't believe people don't go in and read comments. Like, it's always a good idea if you listen to somebody say something and you have a question, just kind of think like, I bet you a lot of people have asked this question. I'm going to go look and see if your question's not answered. Just, I don't want to be mean to people and tell them, go read or go look for yourself or something, because I know that they all like, it's kind of like you signed up for it. If you go and talk about something and everybody wants to know about it, it's just weird because it's like so much repetitive answer questions. And but anyway, so my account has been going up, so it made me curious about like where she was. And I couldn't believe, it was like, she was almost at 100,000 followers. I was like, oh my God, how in the hell did she just like go up that fast, like on 100,000 followers? And I have no idea. I don't know how their stuff works or something, but oh my gosh, that really gets ya. Oh my God. It's like, especially like when you were talking about the same things, but I've complained about this a bunch of times. Like, it must be some sort of, you know, punishment of some sort of karmic debt I have or something. Just talk about these things, and all these other people will talk about it, and they'll be heard, but I don't know. I mean, I know you guys listen to me. And I had another person today tell me that I should write a book. And I said, oh, well, you're not the first person to have said that. And I have actually like 15 journals that I started when my awakening started back in 2015. And I just haven't edited them. But I said, in the meantime, I did start a YouTube channel and I go on and talk every day. So it's kind of like a library of information right there that's just for free. You don't even have to buy the book. It's just right there. You can go. But it's not as organized. It is more of like, I feel like people who have been following along, especially for a long time, that, like that they have probably gotten more out of it, because they have put some of the things that I've talked about into trying it and working on it and trying to, improve their relationships, improve their behaviors, and stop doing toxic patterns and stuff like that. And I would think that, that's why if somebody's listening to me, that they want to work on themselves. I know I talk about some of the stuff that's going on, but it's more of my perspective over the stuff that's going on. I'm like, I know bad stuff is going on, and bad stuff is going to go on, and bad stuff is going to go on until this change happens. Even after, the change happens, there's still going to be bad stuff. There's still going to be shifts with the land masses and stuff. There'll still be disasters and stuff, I'm sure. And there will still be, there's going to be a reaction with the people. There's going to be people who are going to become really reactive to the information that's coming out. And there's going to be people who are going to go out and, have some fits. They're going to be like, won't just be bad guys going and blowing stuff up. There's going to be regular people who are going to go and, wreak havoc. I think wreak havoc. They're going to go out and cause some problems. There's going to be some violence, for sure. There's going to be some violence over this fucking week, I think, especially in cities. I saw, let's see, Mountain Dew, they put out another drink that, Blackout. And so I don't remember what the other leading things are on there. But who knows that, like, if some of the stuff isn't just leading us to fear a blackout. But no matter what, whatever a blackout goes, you just got to keep remembering this isn't forever. It's like that things will go black to get people to become reflective, so they don't have anywhere else to go. And it's going to bring all their fears to the surface. And so when your fears come to the surface, that's when you got to start purging them out, start looking at them. While you're working on it, you got to keep reminding yourself, you are eternal. You are billions of years old. You do this kind of stuff for fun. There is nothing that can hurt you. And just keep reminding yourself, like, these are, oh my gosh, he's so dramatic. That these are the challenges for you to go and experience, because you grow and stuff from them. So while it's going on, those are just like things you just got to keep reminding yourself. There was another thing too I had just seen. I was all these people with their selling stuff. Man, I cannot believe how many videos of people just like, I know that they all just are trying to find alternatives to just regular work. Excuse me, lady. Oh, she messed up my thing. People just don't want to have regular jobs. So I just know that it's, you got to get more creative than what just paying or just buying a bunch of stuff or asking them to send it to you for free so that you can do commercials for it. And there was something that my daughter had wanted, and she has a big following on TikTok, and I had said, well, you have a creator thing. All you got to do is go in there and ask these people. They'll send you samples. People are doing that all over the place. And so she was going in and looking up about it. And so I guess you can go in and pick different things, and it will tell you how much you get paid for every one of them that they sell or something. And so I think that's how they pull people in. And so you get all these people. I mean, there's one guy, his whole channel is, he even said he's sick of his videos getting taken down and putting all this effort into them. So he's just going to keep doing commercials and keep, not just commercials. He was doing like getting the products and then telling you about what he thought about them, whatever that's called, reviewing the products or something. And I don't know. The whole thing is just, it's like still hanging on to the system, It's like you gotta, and I mean, we're all being faced with this stuff. Like even today, I got something because I have long-term disability insurance, and for a few more years, and then but I know all insurance companies are all going to be going bankrupt. Like all this stuff is going to all be going belly up. And so, anything can happen. Like you can suddenly not be getting your check or something. And I was getting this thing, they sent a thing, oh, do you still have a brain injury? You have to sign these things all the time. And then, so they had sent it, and then they sent it back to me and said I didn't date it, and I had to date it. They couldn't just date it. They had to have me date it. The most ridiculous thing, I can't even believe it. So they sent it back. I dated it, sent it back. Then today I got another one that said, second request, you got to get this, whatever, same kind of shit as this tariff thing. You got to get this done. And so I called them to see. I was like, this must just be a mistake in the mail or something. They just sent it out before they got the other one. And then the phone thing was like it was such a clusterfuck, I couldn't even believe it. And nothing, it wasn't working right. And then people are answering, didn't know, like it was wild. And so then I was like, okay, this shit is going. Like, I'm going to get this check. I feel like I'm getting this check. And that's going for my explant. So that is, as long as I get this one, I'm good. Whatever happens after that is like, whatever. Like, I'm just not going to be in fear. I just want these fucking implants out. And then, and now it's like, tomorrow will be the 2nd. So it's more like, but man, it's hard to not watch the days as like a pot of, like when you're waiting on something, and they always say like, you can't watch the pots, the boiling pot. It takes longer. That's what it feels like. I got to take my mind off of it. And they've gone out and done all my yard. Like, it's like, man, I got to find some kind of, some kind of, not a distraction, but something else to do. Like, I don't know. Even though it is, I bet you I way more than 65 way more than 65 comments a day. Like that was just this morning when I got up. So there is a lot of the day spent trying to explain things or answer people's questions or whatever. But it just drags, man. It just drags. I need something. Like when I was going out working in the yard and you're doing that, the day just goes way faster. You're sitting here going, okay, 22 more. And then you've still got all these big things going in between. Because it's like, fuck, how can you sit there and do a countdown to that when we got a countdown to the damn eclipse right here. It's like we're right on the verge of that. So I can't very well skip over that when we don't even know what that's going to bring. Because if it is going to hit into those targeted cities like Seattle, that and Capitol Hill is where the where all the stuff was going on during the riot, the whole BLM thing. It was going on in Seattle when they took over a whole section and all that stuff. That is close to where I'm gonna be, and because I'm pretty sure that was on Capitol Hill, because I saw them. They just recently, I saw them doing it live, went in and tore it down because they had turned that into like a park and a place where people could come and get food, and it was like a community kind of park or something. And all the government went in and tore it all down, and they were doing videos showing. So anyways, that is like around where I will be anyways. But if Seattle, if if they did something on the 8th, it was there, that I mean, we would be so stuck. Like I've already said, like that's gonna jack up the streets. Like they would turn the 5 totally into something like off of the TV, because it would be so many people. But then where would you be able to go? Like I don't know how, if you could get off of the 5, but the way they'll do it though is they'll make it to where it's like people will be trying to go, but there will be nowhere to go. So it's like if they could get off on the 5, and then you start getting, this is a thing too, is it like you start going off on the roads and people won't have navigation. So it will be really chaotic and people will be really frustrated. For any of the places where there is like big evacuations, big things happening, and a whole bunch of people start trying to, oh my God, Stella, Jesus. All the people will start to, okay, let's make sure you're cozy. You should see her. She's doing all this like, God, she's cute. So anyways, whatever I was saying. If they do some kind of evacuation like that, I think it is important to kind of know your area without your navigation. And so I have driven enough times around here on the back roads to go, road trips and stuff. Like I think I can find my way, but the only thing is like it's on these little state highways. It'll be so easy to block off. They could knock a fucking tree over one. Easy. And I mean, around here, that kind of shit goes down. And then, yeah, I remember just a couple weeks ago, I couldn't even drive. I had to go all the way a fucking half hour back around to get home when it was just like a couple miles from my house where the tree went down. It was like, oh my fucking God. And so even if there is like, because if you get on the freeway, their preferred way that we travel so that they can control us, then it's going to be just like dead car, like it's going to be a mess. And it probably will be just like in the movies where they show those people freaking out, holding guns on each other, hitting each other in panic. People just lose their fucking minds over fear, because they fear they're going to be killed when you can't even be killed. Like, it's like crazy. So but like if you know your way around and you try and go in a back route, then like here it would still be like you have to get over the mountain. So you'd have to drive down through all these different ways to get over there, get over the mountain to be able to evacuate. And there will just be so much, because even on the state highway is one lane. So, it's going to be, I just don't even, it's hard to not stress about, what's to come. And, but you just got to keep reminding yourself, no matter what, no matter what, you can handle whatever's to come. There's nothing that we can't handle. Somebody's calling right now, and I don't even know who it is. Just some scam, likely. That's what it says, scam likely. But the phone call to come on, I feel like that's like a confirmation thing. Like, that we do need to have awareness of the stuff and what's to come, have a plan. And like if they come in and start striking your area, like of your exit route, so I don't even know. It still seems like the smartest thing to me is to go up to Canada and just try and run across the border. Don't try and go through the thing. And also, as Michael Rappaport was the name I couldn't remember yesterday, but I saw him doing another video and he was talking about immigration and stuff like that. And he was saying, he's still like, but he was saying that people should have to, go through the stuff. I guess he's Canadian, and he goes back and forth from Toronto to New York. And he said he'll have to sit in that line for 2.5 hours. And he's like, that's okay, because, they should be checking us, who's going across the border and stuff. But then these other people are just going across. But for him to say that, though, I was like, so they're really ramping it up at the border. 2.5 hours. Like, I don't know. Maybe theirs is way busier. Like, if I went down to cross down here, it'd be like, I don't know, a couple minutes. So, unless they're doing something more. But even my neighbor, her sister lives in Canada, and they go back and forth. And I don't know. There's just different things over on the West Coast, that's for sure. Because I was even talking to people in the comments, because I did a video talking about now they've told me that I better, they're going to come put a smart meter on my house on the 6th if I haven't done their bullshit. And there was a bunch of people saying that they haven't come and done them at their houses, like in Nashville and other places, that they're saying, no, they have only said, but that they say they're too expensive. They're not going to go do it. And I said, well, one of the people, they said, well, we don't have them. I said, well, probably should check your house, because they were just coming out here and putting them on on people's houses. It wasn't like the people knew. I bet half these people have no idea even what a smart meter is. It's much less that they have one on their house. And you say something like that, and they would, I'm sure, think, oh, well, that's way better. It's way better to have, like, everybody thinks like all the new technology stuff is way better, way better, way better. No, it's not way better. They are not giving us things that are way better. They're giving us things to kill us. The same thing with the light spectrum thing. The thing with these light bulbs that they tell us that we have to get. They're destroying our eyes. They're destroying stuff in your brain. Like, it does the same problems as everything else. This stupid thing that they put in our houses, I'm positive it's wired. I'd even seen a thing that is a part of their thing, is why they go and put all this fucking shit. And, to get us on the energy saving and stuff, is to just get these things wired. They're probably wired to blow up. They probably are wired to, in the smart meter, they can surge and they can do all sorts of stuff. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they did some kind of a thing where they, blew up houses and stuff. I mean, that could be how that one got blown up, and they say, oh, it was a gas leak. Because then, we all just go, oh, okay, it was a gas leak. We don't have to worry about that. Jesus, girl. Man. See, everything's about her. I swear to God. It's Stella's life. It's Stella's world. I'm just lucky to be here to open the door for her. But, she is the queen of the jungle. She probably is a lot more powerful than me out there in the world. She just came here to learn. She came here to learn what love is, because I sit here and love her even when she's a brat, and give her little belly rubs and scratch her ears and everything. And she eats I think she eats good. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know some people like, I don't know. I just don't think dog food's good for dogs. I think dog food is killing dogs. And so, she eats all people food. So, and she is, she eats she eats everything. She eats, like today she had I made a salad. I made a bunch of chickpeas, and then I, baked them. So I boiled them for a long time because they were dry. So I boiled them for a long time, and then I baked them and put spices and stuff on them. She likes those even. She likes spicy stuff. And then I made a spinach salad and put those on there, and had some other vegetables and some beets. She's eating beets. There is some things though that she won't eat. Like, she does push some things away. Cucumbers, she don't like that. Yeah, or some things, I don't know. Can't go through the whole list. Like, okay, let me think. It seems like that, I swear to God, all day, like, I'll be going through all this stuff, and I'll be thinking of all these things, and then I go and start doing it. It's like, what the hell was I going to talk about? I feel so, weird. I definitely feel so weird over, like, everything just gets weirder and weirder to me. Like, peeing, everything just gets weirder. I feel so much like it's hard to even keep remembering that I'm even here. Like, I don't know. Seems kind of like I'm living in some sort of, just in my own mind. I just live in my own mind. Maybe you guys are all just in my mind. That would be so creepy. What was that? I did see somebody. Oh yeah, it was a really creepy story. Because this woman, she said that they went to the store and they got these fancy flashlights. Her and her son, they wanted to do something. They were looking for something. And so they got home from the store, went in, and she was like doing something for dinner or whatever. And then her son had said that he wanted his flashlight. And so she said, well, just go out in the car. It's still in the car and you can get it. And so she kept cooking her dinner, and then her son hadn't come back in. So she told her daughter that she was going to go out and help her son. Like, I think the daughter is like 4 years old and the son was like 6 years old or something. And her husband is around somewhere. And so she goes outside and she's sitting in the car, and she sees her son standing in the yard. And so he's just standing there and staring out. And so she was like, so she starts hollering at him and telling him, hey, I got your flashlight, I'm opening it, here it is, you can come get it. And he just didn't react, didn't do anything. He just kept standing there staring out. And so she thought, well, maybe he didn't hear me. Is he ignoring me or what? So she did it again. He still didn't have any kind of reaction, didn't turn, didn't do anything. So she said it again, and then all of a sudden he just turned and walked off and disappeared. She said he just like went out of frame. And so she was like, thought that was so strange. And then all of a sudden her son and her husband came walking out of the garage. And she was like, totally weirded out. Like, what, like, who the fuck was that guy? It looked exactly like her son. I said, I think it must have been some sort of glitch. Like, her son, that son was in a different reality. Like, that version of him was playing out in some different reality. She was like, is this a shapeshifter or a mimic or something? But then how was it in the house asking her where the flashlight was? Unless that was her real son who asked where the flashlight was, and then he went upstairs to talk to the dad. He never went outside. And but when she went outside, he was standing out there. He just was standing in the yard. But you would think she would know what her own son looked like. And so I don't know, I mean, there's just going to keep being all this weird stuff. These weird things are going to keep happening all over the place. You keep hearing weird stories and stuff. So anyways, but there's going to keep being the disasters and stuff. And, it's going to be like where there's like so much tension and stuff that builds up in the people. And it kind of like excretes out over everybody else, like, and so it will, when the fear sets off, then it will be like a blast that will get all the people. So even if you are feeling like, oh, I'm fine, everything will be fine, just don't be surprised if, like, when this wave of whatever change comes in and it hits into everybody, you'll feel everybody's fear. So, because I keep feeling all sorts of stuff, like, it is like there's so much emotions or something. There's so much energy. It's so going today too. It was like totally blue or blue sky and a sun thing, but there's all these clouds, tons and tons. But it's not just like where they have us completely shrouded in cloud coverage. No, they've got those big white fluffy ones where you see the frequency. So there's a whole shit ton of frequency. And now they're sending out a weather report that, oh, in the line of the event for the eclipse, that there's going to be a huge cloud cover that day. Darn it. There's going to be a lot of cloud coverage. So they're going to still be out there, though, with their shooting rockets and comets and flying around. Like, I think, they'll probably be spraying the shit like crazy if they're going to try and make sure that there's a thick covering. But maybe they could do it at night even, where people won't even know. But they would be creating the atmosphere. I see them do it here all the time. They create this layer of atmosphere. And so, but today we don't have it on us. But they'll come back in and spray it. I'm sure tomorrow it's supposed to probably start getting cloudy and rainy. And there's already all this spray up there, all these big fluffy moving cloud things. So it's just so weird when you see like how they run this place. Just go out and spray us. And it's also I'm almost wild when I'm talking to all these different people too about the minerals. And there's something coming into my head because the people, there's some people who totally get it, and then there's other people who are so resistant. It's so weird how resistant. I got this other lady again today, and she was just like, oh, I just love my white hair. I just can't imagine, like, I don't want to lose my white hair. I get so many compliments on it and stuff. It's like, yeah, I did too, but you got to choose. Do you want to have compliments, or you want to have better health? And that is one thing too, is like these people, because I know of somebody else who I've talked to, and they decided that they wanted to keep their hair gray. They didn't want to change it. They liked their hair better gray than they liked it when they were dark. And because they had real black, they were kind of Italian looking, I think. And so she likes her hair being silver. And but the thing is, it's not just a color choice. Like, you're drained of minerals. Like, you are actively dying. Like, however long it takes, that is, you are actively dying. And it will, once it's drained all the color out of your hair, it will keep draining from other places, wherever it needs minerals, it's like it's going to use them all up. And then, you just won't be able to keep going because you drained yourself. So it's just so weird how people just don't get that, don't put it together. They just think it's all about the color. It's like it's so much more than the color. The color is nothing but a gauge. And I don't remember if I said this too, that it was somebody with sheep now, because I already had the person with the horses, more than one person with the horses, tell me that they have to do, I think it's the salt lick or something. If they don't do, it's either copper or selenium, that they will lose their color. And so somebody said, was talking to me, and then they said, oh, that makes so much sense because we have sheep and we have to give them copper. Otherwise, their fur, or their, is it called fur? Their hair stuff, their wool turns gray. And I'm like, see, people just don't get it. And I have had other people now, let me think. There was one I was really surprised what she did. I can't remember what it was. It was something like, whoa. I wouldn't have, it was some kind of change. And her hair turned back from gray to brown. And it wasn't a mineral. It was something, I'd have to go back in and try and find her comment. I should have wrote it down because I can't remember what it was. But it was something that I was not expecting. I see a lot of different people, like, I started taking, there was the selenium, but there was some other ones. I'm getting a bunch of different ones now. There's a bunch of people who have turned their hair back. And they just didn't realize it or put it all together. Like now is when people start talking about it more. Now is when people start putting it together. Like, oh, they're draining us of minerals to make us sick, to make us depleted, to put an attack on our bodies so that all of the things that they, in all of the chemicals and stuff that they give us, that causes us to get sick and to have issues. And, they've got all the cures. They've got all the answers for us because they're the ones doing this stuff. But it's so wild, too. It's like a need-to-know basis because the doctors can't catch on. Doctors don't catch on to it. They just keep on, well, you got to take prescriptions. You got to do this while you're aging. It's like so strange. And I wonder how many of them, like, have had patients that have, turned their hair back by themselves and then come in. Like, you'd think that would make doctors start catching on and being like, oh, wow, that's, and, I know some are, I know some are catching on and doing better, and it's so wild too. When I was thinking about this is, all these doctors who put all this time into school, all these big loans, and don't forget, like, when they're making all this money, like, they go get houses and stuff. They're not getting, like, little houses. They're getting big houses and big loans, lots of stuff. Like, they've got most of them have a lot of debt. And I think that they do that. I think that they kind of really create Keeping Up with the Joneses kind of ego-driven, medical, and I'm sure they do it with legal, like all of these things, to get the people to get themselves in a lot of extreme debt. And everybody's got fancy stuff. And so then when all this stuff collapses, like all of that, I would be so much pressure. Because, there's people who, do all sorts of jobs, and all of a sudden they don't have a job. And, they don't have as many big loans and stuff that are hanging over them. Like, when some of these people who are going to lose their jobs, they're going to be under a lot of stress. Like, well, I don't know, because it may go where all the stuff will collapse, so then all their debt will be gone. So then when they lose their jobs and stuff, but their houses, like all of their stuff, I don't know. I can just really see the lessons in there, and of like just building yourself up on a fake foundation, and how hard it's going to feel when it crashes. And so there's going to be so much of that. It just was like a weird vision, you know, of like all these like all these doctors down at the Home Depot will work for but yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people who have put a lot of effort into their careers, and that career is going to be gone. They thought like, oh, it's, you know, medical career, it's lifelong. I'm sure people in judicial too, they think, oh, you know, that's set, I'm set for life, I'll always have a job. And it's gonna be like, people who thought they would always have a job are suddenly gonna be like, oh, well, now you know what it's like, now you're gonna feel what it's like for the other people. Is they just, you know, they make some people important, and then they just pull the rug out from under them. It's like the way that they can keep things destabilized. But when this goes, this is going to be the universe. This isn't going to just be these people, like the bad guys, you know, taking away their jobs. No, it's going to be like the universe is making a shift, and you just put all your eggs in the wrong basket. It's like, you know, that's where you get to go in and, you know, think about things and look at things, and it's all happening, so you do. Like, there's lessons in there for you. I can't tell you what the lessons are because I don't think those are my lessons. I have my own lessons, but there's lessons in there for whatever things happen, to whatever happens to you, to affect you. There's lessons there. There's things there to help you purge out old, hidden, dark bullshit that you carry. You know, and there's lots. There's like, you could go through huge lists all the time. There's just a lot of stuff that people hold on to, and anger, and I don't know. I swear to God, there's so much just like of this self depravity, like this self hatred. It's like, I don't know. It's weird because it's like, it seems like people just hate themselves, but then they don't want you to hate them. Like, they want you to like them, even though they hate themselves. And there's another thing too that always just gets me, is when I see all of these different spiritual people who don't take care of themselves. It's like, well, isn't a big part of the spiritual teachings is mind, body, spirit? Like, but there's like people who just, I don't know. I don't know, like, to me, it seems like it's important for you to connect to yourself, take care of yourself, especially at this time right now when we are being so poisoned. It's like, this is when you got to catch on, and this is when you got to see and take care of yourself. And so it is, I don't know, that is where it seems like to me, where you see yourself more positive. When you see yourself more negative or whatever, like you haven't been taking care of yourself, and then that is going to be so highlighted. Like where were you putting all your energy? What were you doing with your energy? And what was so important over you? And it's like some people put so much energy into things that have no value, when it's like the value has got to be where you got to recognize the value is you. You got to put time into you. You got to take care of yourself. That's the most important thing. That's the thing that you that's the thing you have control over. But that is also the only thing that you really have. The only thing that you really have of value is you. You know, there's nothing that you own that should have more value than you. There's like, everybody's got to prioritize themselves. And that is you know, like in the healing and the it's like a self-focus. It is like, but it's like as deep as you can go. Like there will be some people when then this big healing thing starts. There will be all different levels. There'll be some people who can just go so deep into themselves and really release things and really move through it really easily. And then there'll be other people who are clumsy and just fight through it. And I think that has to do with not being able to relax and trust yourself. Like there's so many components to this, like you have to build up, but you can't just say, okay, well, if you do this, and then you do that, and then you do this next. No, everybody's got to find their own path. Everybody's got to find their own way to where they're going. There isn't just a set recipe that we can all follow. And it's not meant to have a set recipe that we can all follow. It's meant for you to have to go out and do some investigation because you're here to learn about yourself. And in the investigation is how you learn to understand yourself and communicate with yourself. But so the people who go through that where they don't trust themselves and they're clumsy and they fight against themselves and then they get in, bad moods and, hold on to resentment towards themselves and stuff. Because there will be some of that. Like there's people who just do not know how to heal. And that is why there's going to be such a huge influx of like all these people who have done it that will be leading the way because there's so many people who are lost, who have no idea. And so I don't know, but I know if all of a sudden the lights went out, like this weekend. No, what are we? Okay, so it's this week. It would be like this weekend. I think Monday is the eclipse. I think next Monday, so a week away, because it's the 8th, and then So, anyways, maybe it's Tuesday. I don't know, but anyways, when going up into this week and this weekend, anything could happen. Like just because they're telling us, oh, the 8th, this is going to happen, they could do something before we get to the 8th. They could, put the lights out because we don't know who's doing what and who's trying to stop what or any of that stuff. So however it goes, because there could be a lot of people who think, well, for sure this is going to happen. And then anything that happens that doesn't go with that set, their expectation really will throw them. But so it'd be better. I keep trying to not have expectation, to not trying to fill in the blanks, to just be like, okay, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And just be prepared, like, and think about like escape routes and being able to go. I don't even have a full tank of gas. Like, I'm just not even going to worry about it. I swear, it's just like whatever happens, happens. And it's sad because I know there's going to be some really, really bad things are going to happen. But so no matter what, so like the lights went out all of a sudden this weekend, and you're isolated in the dark, and and the fear will really eat at you. Then just keep reminding yourself that it's temporary, but do your best is to really focus on your fears and what you can heal and going deeper into them. Whatever things keep coming up, don't just keep going around it, around it, around it. Try and understand it. Try and take it apart and decipher it so that you can see where these things are coming from, because that's how you release them. Once you get to what it is, and you see, then it's like, oh, that's why I'm doing that. Okay. And I think it's just an important thing for people to remember that they're eternal. And maybe that is a part of like what this big thing is going to go down is to show you. I don't know. Because I know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to die during some of this stuff. Like a lot of people are going to pass in all these different kinds of situations. There was another shooting somebody went into a woman's center or something, shot up a bunch of ladies, and then took off running. This stuff is just gonna keep going and going and going and going. Like, they're gonna be going in churches, they're gonna be going in daycare. Like, they don't give a fuck. They're there. They're probably given room and board and money and food and drugs and everything. Like, probably have to go check in at the end of the day. How much havoc did you wreak? Like, if you didn't wreak enough havoc, then you don't eat dinner tonight. You gotta go out there and cause more problems. Get these people scared. Uh, cause some mayhem. And so it's just going to keep, the mayhem's going to keep building and building. And it trips me out too, is when I keep seeing these people live, just going like Duran. There's a whole bunch. Like there's a guy in Seattle who does the same thing, in New York, Tokyo. Like they're all over the place. And it's always like when I come across them and I'll see them for a second, and I'm always thinking like, man, it just seems like such a setup a bit, like you're watching someone do that and then all of a sudden some big explosion. It just seems like they're just going to be right there for it. I don't know. Just it always feels like that when I'm watching them. And then, wait a second, because there was something else that was coming into my head when I was saying that. Was it Duran, LA? There keeps being these big chases too. There was a big chase in LA that I saw. Oh yeah, the live thing with I can't believe this. So, so this morning, and I had 65 comments on the TikTok. So I went in there, I was like answering all these, and it must have been later. Oh, well, I'll see videos when I'm on there. But so I had seen this girl. So yesterday, remember I said that there was a girl who was on there. Every time I went on, she was live reading the Bible. And so then I had seen her, and I don't know if I had already said this, but I saw her this morning. No, I wouldn't have told you guys. I don't know who I told. So I saw her this morning, and she said that she was reading the book of Mark yesterday, and that she read it for 10 hours and like 48 minutes or something. She was live for almost 11 hours, like reading this Bible. I was like, dang. So then, so she said, okay, and so this morning, I am going to read the book of Isaiah or something. And so, tune in. And she's been at it all day long. But I was doing something, and I went to open TikTok. And right when I opened it, she popped up right there. And so she was the first video I saw, and she was live. And the first thing out of her mouth was, and Moses said to go into the place and kill all the women. I don't remember how. It was stone them all to death or something. But I was just like, what in the hell? And the people are getting all like crazy, like read the Bible 12 hours in tomorrow. Let's read another 12 hours. It's like it's got panic is set in or something. And these women up all night praying, and like it seems like the people who believe in Jesus are the most panicky. It's like, hurry, get the Bible. We've got to read it again. And then when you hear what they're reading, it's like, well, how in the world can you worship this? How can you think this is the answers? Like, it says, go kill all the women. Go just murder all the women. Look, don't need those. Murder them all. It was just like, oh my gosh. There is so much murder and mayhem, and, do what we say, or, you're expendable in that book. And the people all go along with it. I am getting so many. I'm going to have so many comments again when I come off. I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb, and I keep going one after another. And it would probably be a whole lot of, well, how do you get copper? Well, where do you get it? Well, how, can you tell me more? I get this all the time. Can you tell me? I'm so happy that one lady told me to make that playlist. Oh my God. I was a fucking saving grace. Like, Jesus. I didn't know anything about that. And so she said, put all those videos together and make a playlist. So I did it. I can't even tell you how many times a day that I have to say, and some of them still can't find it. I have to go in and tag them in videos. But I'll say, you can find that in my playlist. It's called Reversing Aging. You can find it right above my other videos. And, I don't remember. I've got like a little catchphrase that I need to just copy and paste it. I say it so many times a day. And there's so many people who can't find the playlist. They can't find the videos. Like, and all the people always want to know, like, how do you get the copper? Where do you find a cup? How do you take in copper? And to just tell them overall more. Tell them everything about how to do all this stuff. And it's like, oh my God, can you imagine if I just every video after video they asked me and I had to go in and answer them each individually. Like that's how I would build up my channel, because I saw somebody saying if you go and you answer all your questions with videos, that builds up your count. Like if you're trying to build up an account, that it does something with the algorithm or something. If you answer all your questions by video, that would be so time consuming. It's so time consuming anyways, but it's still, I'm not trying to be bitchy and whiny. It still is good to be helping people, and putting that energy. Like that's where I want to be putting my energy. I don't want to be putting my energy into division and fear, and I would much rather be putting it into healthy and reversing aging and feeling good and taking care of yourself, and like all the stuff I talk about. So anyways, but it does take up a lot of time though. And then I don't know, see, I'm just going all over the place. I'm just all over the place. Well, I've got something to take out. I need something to take out my time. Well, I've got this, takes up all my time. But I was like, oh my God, I'm just in my own little fucking, every time I start talking, it's really hard to come in and start talking about this, because I can sit here, keep questioning myself. And, this must be a part of the coming into this mirrors thing. It's like everything you say is like, well, do you really think that? Well, what do you think about this? Well, how do you feel about that? Well, what do you think about that? I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go crazy. It's like I'm just supposed to talk about positive shit. So talk about things to help people get through this time and to find themselves, and to not just have all the voices just be this wackadoo, like, love and light, just ignore everything going on in the world and go focus on being something, I don't know. And then these other people in this full-on panic or reading the Bible nonstop, talking about Jesus, and Jesus is gonna be here in a minute. And so there has to be some other voices out there. Even there's a lot of people I see who I think are really in touch spiritually that still focus on like religion and Jesus and stuff. And I was thinking, because there's so many people who just believe like this God. They're always like, well, and God said, and God did this, and God did that. And they keep making like God is just one person. It's like God, there's not just one singular God. There's not just a singular God, man, up in the sky. Singular God, man, woman. And then the people always are like, we're made in his representation, or whatever the fuck. It's like, okay, so you seriously think God is a person, looks just like us, and that he's just up in the sky? Like, oh my God. So anyways, I keep seeing these people saying this stuff that is just like, to me, sounds so fucking wacky. And so I was saying today, so I'll say it on here too, is like, I believe in the universe. The universe is like this vast thing of energy. And the energy is like, has vibration. There is all different vibrations of the energy, and it is, so it can be, there can be bad stuff and there can be good stuff. Like, you know, I consider this place to be like hell. Like, we're trying to elevate out of hell. Like, there's so much dark shit here. And like, I can't imagine a place worse than this place. And then it's like got this duality too, because it's like this beautiful place where you can feel so happy and feel so good, but then it's got so much toxicity. And so but to me, it is the vibration. And so when you think about the vibration, so here the vibration is hellacious, but then there's a vibration of real positive energy, like, and that's where the beings that are all in that really high vibration, where people think, oh, they're angels and stuff like that, but all the beings in that higher vibration. And then when you tap into that higher vibration, then you are in their like energy field. That is who like is talking to you. Like when I say that you are, when you're talking to other beings, you have to pay attention to like the energy, because it is, there's all sorts of beings that can talk, but they're not all of positive energy. And positive energy, you just gotta, whatever information you get, you just gotta think it through. You know, is it good for everybody, or is it somehow toxic and only good for you? Like, you gotta see it, because if it's toxic and it's only good for you, then that is genuinely is not high vibration. So the high vibration, that to me is where people think of like God, because it's the heavens of high vibration. It's what's good. And so that to me, but that isn't just one singular God. That's a whole energy. That is like a whole bunch of beings. It's like all of us. We are all the fractals of it. And so it's all of us together that make up God. We are all like the voices of God. We are all here to learn from each other as gods, really, because we all have things that we can teach by our own ability to live and to experience. Then people can learn from our experiences. But anyways, we are the gods. And it's not like a God like what these people are like, well, everybody's got to come to God. No, there's not supposed to be that. That's the point. You're not supposed to be like worshiping as God. Oh, this God's over me. Oh, God's going to get me. Oh, God's going to do this. Oh, God says to do this. God says to do that. No. It is supposed to be you and your connection to yourself and the vibration that you're feeding off of. That is, to me, what it's all about. If you are feeding off of negative energy, then you're putting out negative energy. If you're feeding off of positive energy, then you're putting out positive energy. But and it's all by your choice, your rhythm, like, you know, who you are, what you're doing. And so but this man, I don't know, maybe I've already explained it, but it just seems like it's like this positive energy, like this, all the beings that are in that vibration, that is the culmination of God's spirit. But it's all different spirits. It's not just one singular spirit. It's a vibrational, energetic thing, and it's all the vibration in that thing. Because I don't think that, you know, like when there's the lower vibration, the people, they'll think of that as the devil and demons and stuff. But anyways, it's all just like variations of frequency and what that energy carries. But no, I don't believe at all that there's one singular God up there. We are the thoughts. We are what makes up God. We are the synapse. We are the creation of every thought that the God is. So it's us that is the what makes the God. It's like if kind of like if you took one of like if you've ever seen one of those pictures where it's all pictures that make up a picture, that's what it is. We are all the pictures that make up the picture. So to me, it's like very primitive thinking to just always be, that's what always throws me when I see these spiritual people. Well, and God, unless they're just talking about like this God concept, but so many, they're like, no, the Almighty God chose you. That God picked you out from everybody else because you stood out. So God is going to like elevate you because it's like that, you know. And all the things that are going to be happening isn't just because God came down and said, oh, that person over there, they're doing great. I'm going to elevate them. No, this is all pre-planned. Everything that is going to happen is a part of the shift. So when the people start, there's going to be a big shift. It's already like the power is shifting. And so people like J-Lo and stuff like that, they're going to fall. And there's going to be people who are going to elevate. The people who are going to elevate are not, nothing is by accident. This is all set. Everything is by destiny. Everything that is going to be happening is all by destiny. And so, you know, there's no reason to sit and think like, oh, well, I've got to do this and, you know, to be in God's favor, so this will happen or that will happen. No, it's already set. I mean, there's going to be just a shift. And the shift is going to be to redirect, to take society, take mankind, to take us in a new direction. So it's not so... it's not like a selfish thing. Like there's so much selfishness that has been involved. Like J-Lo, like she's like, oh my God, more and more stuff that comes out about her. She's just, ugh. So many of these people are just like, ugh. But anyways, but it's their life. They got to come in and, you know, I mean, I'm sure, you know, she probably had a lot of fun times and good times and stuff. But this is the pay the piper. This is the exposing. This is like, oh, okay, so you went and did that, and you went and did a little of that, and now everybody's going to know. So how are you going to feel about that? That has been one of the things that a lot of these people have been in fear, is the exposing for us to see the truth. But, yeah, I was about to go down. But there is going to be such a big shift. So just keep in mind, you don't have to be doing all this stuff because God's going to find you in favor and stuff. It's already set. It's set. There's going to be people who are going to be waking up, and people are going to be healing. There's going to be people at every level. There's going to be a whole giant staircase, and there's somebody on every level. So there's nothing... you know, this is all very organized by the universe. Like, it all goes together. It's not just one man up there doing this. Like we have, and that kind of, you know, even doing that just takes away kind of the real power behind the universe and all of the beings, all of us, our real power. And to keep thinking that there's somebody over us or something. No, it's all of us coming together in unity is what creates the power. It's where, you know, what I believe that what they call source and stuff. It's like when you take all the energy back to the source of where it came from, it all goes back to the same place. It doesn't go from all different places. It all goes back to the same magnificent power that you can call God. But God has expressed itself in you and me. So that's why you got to remember to love yourself and love everyone and have a loving day. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.